speaking to Don Callahan of Citi, and you gave one of the keynote speeches here at the Citi Digital Money Symposium. And you talked about Citi's work closely with Google Wallet and how it was a learning curve for both sides. So can you give us kind of more detail about that?
Glad to, Elizabeth. In fact, I was talking with one of the Google executives during the break, and he was saying that the story I related during my speech was spot on, in that Google moves very fast. They go from idea to market in many times it's just an instance. And in working with a group like Google that's so smart and with such a high bias towards action, at times we can come across as slow because we're a bank. But I think what both entities have come to understand, that being a bank, we have a set of responsibilities that is even beyond do no harm. It is to ensure no harm is done anywhere inside the system. We are regulated in every country in which we have a bank license, and we've done this for over 200 years. So we know that our clients and customers put trust in us. That's what we do for a living. We protect the banking industry. We protect the payment networks. And I think Google now has a fast appreciation of how difficult that is to really make it all bulletproof. At the same time, we're trying to learn from Google of how important it is to move at the speed of thought.
So whenever there are discussions around, digital money and digital commerce, there are a lot of column inches devoted to, payment disruptors and banking startups. What is sort of the future for that? Are they really going to disrupt the large banks, or are they going to move into the future working more with banks, or will they remain sort of niche providers?
It's hard to tell what the future is going to bring in this space, but it's exciting. So I think you can see from the symposium there are many different points of view as to how this will shake out. I actually think there's a role for everyone, and it's a role where I believe in the middle, the custodians of the financial services market will indeed be the banks. And by definition, if someone enters that market, by definition, they will be called a bank because that's what they're doing. So I think there's a great room for partnerships, both with the network providers like the Visas and MasterCards of the world, China Union Pays. There are a lot of networks that are going to be involved, but there's also a lot of entrepreneur startups that are happening every day. One of my favorites right now is Uber. The fact that some young entrepreneurs could get together and say, why not develop an app to take standing cars around the world and have them show up where you want them, when you want them. It revolutionizes the way people think about value propositions.
So, there's also the sort of conventional wisdom that large banks are sort of too weighed down by legacy systems and strong regulations to be truly innovative in this space. Is there some truth to that, or, where does the myth and the truth lie?
Well, large banks, it depends on what you mean by large. Is it scale or
Citi.
scope? Citi, we're quite large. We're virtually in every country in the world in which we think there's a viable market. And digitally, I think we're not weighed down by our past. Now, we have been around for a long time. 200 years we just celebrated. And as we looked back, the way we decided to celebrate it was not by talking about the past, but really embracing the future. But nonetheless, talk about the amount of innovations that we've been driving to market over the last 200 years. I don't think that slows us down. I think it puts us with a strong foundation of understanding of what people's needs and wants are. And remarkably, they haven't changed that much. Human needs around their financial needs has really kept pace. Now, they've become more demanding in terms of, for example, wanting information all the time, always ready. So having an old-fashioned bank that would be open for a certain period of time on the high street has gone away. So we have invented this concept called smart banking, which says when you're in a bank, you're going to get all the services you need. But when you walk out of a bank, you want to make sure that you stay digitally connected and you have the same level of service whether you're at home in your library or in the car. And we recognize that. We think that's a continuum, but certainly not a burden at all.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.